So maybe we should just get started. It looks like people are all here and we are at 10:02, so I don't want to take up your time. Thanks everybody for coming today to our OER workshop series, and we are going to talk about Pressbooks and H5P, which are just different tools that people can use to create and publish and disseminate their OER materials. Um, so first, here's the agenda. I'm going to talk a little bit about OER publishing, um, a little bit about how we have used Pressbooks. Kiernan Cantergiani is here. She was our OER project assistant, and she's going to talk about her experience co-creating the faculty guide with us. Um, through the OER initiative at UNM. And then we also have a couple of other people here who are going to show us what they have made through H5P for their classes. And that is Alex Gomez de Sousa. And then he works at Central New Mexico Community College, but he's also an OER champion over there, and he helps faculty to find things and do a bunch of different OER materials. And then Steve Martinez also is here, and he is from many different places. Santa Fe Community College, CNM, and I think he also teaches at UNM too sometimes. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So first I just wanted to talk to people a little bit about different ways that you can disseminate your OER materials. There's lots of different choices out there. And the way that people choose to share their materials, I think, just depends on their needs, their students' needs, and their pedagogy. So with the OER initiative that we've started at UNM and that we're doing through our NMOER Consortium, we're focusing on a couple of different platforms. But for people who don't have access to Pressbooks, there's other free sites that you can use to share the materials that you make for your students. So, first off, you can just use Google Docs. If you want to publish your materials, lots of people do that. They might have a Google Drive that they save and open up to people to use their documents. So Google's a great way to share materials. You can, remove the editing abilities of people and just leave them as viewers. And it's a pretty safe way to share your materials. LibreText is another really great website, and it has so many materials. It's a repository of materials, but then also they have other applications that you can use in conjunction with LibreText. They have a website called Adapt, and you can also create like formative assessments for your students, and they can use them and take them within that platform. It's a really cool platform, and it is completely free. It was also created through a Department of Education grant. Um, Another good place to share your materials is OER Commons. And so with OER Commons, it's a couple of things. It's both an OER platform, where you can author materials and publish them on the platform. The publication platform that they have is called Open Author, but it's also a referatory. So with OER Commons, you can link to your materials, and then you can direct people to wherever you might have your materials published outside of their platform. And so this one is a really good one as well. You can filter when you're searching, and then you can, put different tags on your materials to make them more searchable for people who want to find your materials as well. Another really cool place to share your materials, if you have access to Canvas, which is a learning management system. It's the learning management system that we use at UNM. They have on the left-hand side of their menu, if your institution has enabled Canvas Commons, then you can publish your materials to Canvas Commons for other people to use. You can publish them, make them open to your institution. You can make them open to all of Canvas. You can make the materials open to like just a specific consortium. And so with this platform, you can create a class, license it openly, and then just share it with people. And it's really super easy if you have Canvas to copy those materials and then put them into your class. And if it's openly licensed, you can modify it, modify the materials for your specific students. So say you find a book that you like on OER Commons or maybe through LibreTexts. Um, you may also find, you know, a, like a course shell that you could also take that might use, like there are some Canvas shells, if you look in the Commons area, that are based on OpenStax books, which are also openly licensed materials. So you could find a shell and then use those materials. Um, so there's just a bunch of different ways that you can share the materials that the open educational resources that you create. This is this QR code. If you want to check it out, it will take you to a website through Open Oregon, and that website has directions on how to post to the Commons, the Canvas Commons. And so through the New Mexico OER Consortium, we have also given the partner schools that are working with us, Santa Fe Community College and Central New Mexico Community College, the digital repository is an option for them to post the materials that they create. We have different OER collections. It's small right now, but we're hoping to grow it. And so this digital repository is created by Elsevier, which is a publisher, and it's a pretty big publisher, but the stuff that you post to the repository, it can be openly licensed, even though Elsevier is the traditional publisher. A cool thing about digital repositories or institutional repositories is that a lot of them have, like ours is, it's in Google optimized, so people can search the web and then get directed to the digital repository. Also, there's analytics on the repository that can show you where people are downloading your material, how many times it's been downloaded, and even if it's been like shared on social media. So that's a cool way to keep track of the materials that you create, keep track of like where they're being disseminated and shared. And then lastly, we have there's more places to put materials and to share them with the world. But our publishing platform of what we use at UNM and through the New Mexico OER Consortium, it's called Pressbooks. And so I actually will just navigate you to that site, and then I will hand it over to Kiernan to talk about her experience. But this is the site that we've developed with our information technology department at UNM. So we have just a few books on our catalog, but here they are. The catalog is also up here too. So we have a book that CNM has posted. Some of these books are still kind of being developed. For example, The Intermediate Spanish for Public Health is an amazing book, but they're still working on it. So eventually we'll get a nice, beautiful cover. This is a book through our health sciences department. It's a graduate level book called Swallowing Disorders, and it is pretty amazing. All of the graphics that have been created. We have our faculty guide for OER. This is our English book at UNM for our composition courses. And this is also the grammar guide. So on the front end, we have about like, what is it, 6 books. On the back end, though, there's 40 books that are in development, and some of them will be published by the fall of 2025, so we'll have more materials there. But Pressbooks does a lot of really cool, it has a lot of cool bells and whistles for the OER creator. There is the ability to have this, it's called LaTeX, and it allows for you to create equations. And our chemistry professor, Stephen Cabanis, is working on quantitative chemical analysis, and his book will utilize that technology. And then we also have, through Pressbooks, access to H5P. And Kiernan is also, do you want to, she's a graduate student at UNM. She's a
Yeah.
teacher. She does lots of cool things. So
Yeah, I literally fell into OER through the great collaboration of Mary Rice, who is my advisor, and the work that she is doing with Jennifer. So I had the opportunity to work last year as her assistant on the project, and it was just amazing. And one of the most important things that I could do um, over the summer was I had a chance to play around with H5P while a bunch of professors were doing like actual tasks as an assistant. I was just tasked to learn how to do it and kind of figure out how to play with it. And at the time, the grammar guide was being written, and so I used that as I'm an English teacher, a former English teacher, and so I used that as my basis for creating different activities. Could you go to the next slide? Perfect. Okay. So what is H5P and what can it do? Well, mostly it is free open source tool for creating internet learning content. And honestly, it takes a lot of the things that we would do in a lot of different places that are code based, and it makes it so that you don't have to write the code. It's incredible in that sense. It integrates with learning management systems, and the reason that that's important is it allows you to not only embed within the management system, but also depending on the licensing that that management system has. And I know at UNM we are in the process of getting it connected so that it'll integrate into automatically the grade books. So you can have actually graded activities.
the teachers actually do have access to doing this at UNM. Like it is
Oh,
finally
yeah, have we gotten
integrated.
the like the integration part of it done as
The
well?
integration part is done, and so now we just need for teachers to learn about this and to like develop activities.
Excellent.
And they
So
can actually do that now with our multimedia specialist.
okay, so very quickly, here are some examples of the types of things that you can do, interactive videos, branching scenarios. They literally have like 50 different kinds of things. And I have added into the chat link to that actual page that has the content things and stuff. Okay, so basically what we're thinking about is these interactive activities allow you to enhance your student engagement. It supports active learning by asking questions during the process. You can use it for online, hybrid, and in-person learning. It is promotes accessibility, and again, with the assessment and immediate feedback, it can be a really effective teaching tool. For example, you can embed quizzes within videos. You can look at real world scenarios and ask for using the branching feature to make decisions. There are interactive timelines for like history and project management, and for me personally, we used a timeline to map a plot across of an epic across like generations. And then also drag and drop activities, which can be used for vocabulary learning. And I'm going to show you that specifically right now. So in Pressbooks, as I mentioned, I made up a bunch of different things, and I had to basically rethink how um, an already existing grammar exercise could be made interactive. And here are two examples of things that I did. So here we are at the UNM Core Grammar Guide. So what we can do is go and you can read the book, or if you have access like I do, you can also go in and edit the book. So we're going to go into the edit menu, and I'm just going to show you two really quick things. So one of the things that's very interesting about your account in Pressbooks is all of your H5P content that you create gets housed under your specific account, not and it's not limited to that book, which means it's very, very easy to reuse activities and just revise them. So the one that I was looking at was, or one that I created was capitalization practice. And all you're doing here is you're going and select every word that should be capitalized. So you are literally highlighting, welcome to the first year at University of New Mexico. And then as you'll discover the vibrant city of Albuquerque. So anyways, and the cool thing about it is that you can check it and it'll show you what you did right and what you did wrong. So creating an H5P activity is actually really easy. It's a four-step process. You're selecting your activity type, you're adding your content, you configure your settings, and then you can preview and publish this stuff. And this is just a shameless plug for our faculty OER guide. And the whole reason this image is here is so you can see where my little H5P content thing is, which is what I had just showed you. I'm going to show you how easy it is to actually create a new content. So I'm going to go here to add new. So we're going to do a drag the words, right? And we're going to use it, and it's just very simple. So what you do is you're adding a box. So your task size is going to be that, and then you go to your next step. And at that point, you're going to add a drop zone. And so I'm going to label this one fruit, and I'm going to show the label. I'm going to enable auto align for those people that like to have things neat and pretty. So the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull on that. It will give you an opportunity to change the size. So I want my box bigger. Then I'm going to copy it and paste and edit instead of fruit. This one's going to be vegetables and hit done. Then you're going to add your text. And the text will have like banana. So put banana and then you can drop it in or drop it out. And then as you are creating this, you also have the opportunity to talk about feedback, what's going to be the correct way to do it, how often people can try things, drop zone highlighting. And ultimately, I'm not going all the way through this.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you explain why you select them all, like all the options?
Why I select each of the different options?
Yeah, like you just like when you put the text banana, like if you click on edit, uh, if you click on edit, like why did you select them all? Can you just
Because by selecting all, that allows the user to put it to choose whether it goes into fruit or vegetables.
Right. So it because if you don't, when you are dragging, it's not going to let you choose a wrong option.
Right, exactly. And so
Right.
it depends. Actually, that's an excellent point. It depends on the
Hmm.
type of activity that you are wanting. If you want people to try again until they get it right,
Right. Exactly.
um,
Uh-huh.
it's one thing, or if you want them to do everything and then assess it and then try it again and assess
Hmm.
it, there are absolutely different ways to do that. Thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. So just yeah, you can go ahead and select them again. Sorry.
oh
I
yeah, no,
just
I
wanted
was
to
actually going to
make
kind of
sure.
move on from there.
Okay,
Yep.
awesome.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
so that was pretty much it. It's super easy. It's trial and error, and there's just it's there's no downside. I don't think it forces you to be creative with how you are planning activities, and it's really, really great for quick checks.
Mhm. And so like this H5P technology, you can access it outside of Pressbooks, right, Kiernan?
That is absolutely correct. One of the there are a several. You can use it with Moodle. You can use it with just directly in Canvas. You can use it with other systems. The only thing is it has to be online. It has to be,
Yeah.
web-based.
Yeah, and then but the nice thing about having it available through Pressbooks is like we were saying earlier, you can like the institution, our institution, and then also CNM has access to H5P outside of Pressbooks, Central New Mexico Community College. They can just do stuff within Brightspace using H5P. But through Pressbooks we can create these materials, and then the nice thing, like you were saying, the students can do assessments as they're reading through the chapters, right? and then the points can get uploaded into the grade book if that's how the teacher wants to do it. Because like for me personally, I don't like quizzing, but it does force students to like do the reading if they want the points. So that's like another reason why this can be helpful. Yeah. So I want to go ahead and Alex or Steve or Alex and Steve, they were showing me the really cool things that they've created for their classes. And I said, "Oh my gosh, can you please come and show us what you've created?"
So I'm a full-time faculty member at Santa Fe Community College, but I teach adjunct at CNM and UNM. You know, guys got to make a living, as they say. So let me do this. So Sue is one of my OER champions, and Alex is one of my OER champions. And I'll give two examples. Sue helped me create this timeline, this history timeline. And what's great about this timeline? It's basically a PowerPoint of the entire course. So this is US History 2. I did this last fall. This class is hot right now. In other words, I'm teaching this class this spring semester, and the feedback that I'm getting from students is really tremendous, with this timeline, because they love being able to just scroll through and basically kind of find out what are the hot points of the course. And so you can see the Homestead Act,
Steve,
Reconstruction. So
just
this
a
is
second.
all H5P, showing you what you can basically put embed an image, and then you can, of course, Sue reminded me we have to make sure we do
Right.
the public domain stuff and the citation of the images. Um, and it's really easy. It's real straightforward. There's nothing real complicated about it with H5P. It's very user friendly. And I have to give Sue a lot of credit, because Sue's the one who said, "Steve, look at, they've got a timeline." And she's the one who kind of did the research on the H5P and said, okay, this is your circus monkey. You can do this. And she showed me how to kind of get all this embedded with a photograph and with content. So this is the example of my OER champion, Sue, helping me with the timeline. And again, the students love this because, rather than diving into a chapter, they can kind of scroll through here and see some of the topics that are big topics for the course, right? So this is an example of using H5P timeline, all right? Now, let's do this. Let's jump over to my other OER champion, and that's Alex. And Alex helped me basically. I had this idea. Well, let me go back and take a step back and say, previously or previous to H5P, I had an aversion towards quizzes. I was this modern guy. I said, quizzes suck. I'm never going to do that. I'm not going to do quizzes. And Alex basically said, "Steve, let me show you something. It's not really a quiz. It's the 21st century." And what I did was this. I like using Khan Academy videos, okay? And Alex basically showed me, "Okay, Steve, let's do this. Let's create a real low stakes video where you have a quiz at the end." And I'm like, "Alex, nope, I don't do quizzes. Don't do quizzes." He said, "Come on, relax, chill out." And so what we did was this. We created this quiz here, and I'm going to go right to the end of the quiz, the video. It's a 6-minute video, and the videos range from 3 minutes to 6. All right, they finish the video, and they click on the quiz part. All right, this is U.S. history quiz time. What are the 3 amendments added to the Constitution during the Reconstruction era, people? Who has the answer? Let's see who knows American history. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, come on, guys. 13th, 14th, 15th. Oh, I got it right. So real low stakes, 10 points, easy. This is low stakes, 10 points, easy, that the students can, grab right away. All right. So again, they love this stuff. It's watch a video, get 10 points. Now let me do this. Let me come here, come up to the top. I'm going to come here to my grade book. So with the quiz, okay, you can see this is how it integrates into your grade book. All right. So you can see all of my assignments that are here. Now, these quizzes are all right here. They're external learning tools. So you can see how the video quiz gets integrated right into the CNM Brightspace gradebook. And here's the example. All of those quizzes, they're right here, 10 points. So you can see how easily they integrate right into your gradebook. And this is something that Alex helped me kind of navigate and get going. So you have a quiz, low stakes. You watch a video, 3 minutes to 5 minute video. You get 10 points automatically. When you complete the quiz, it goes right into your gradebook. And there's the example of it in your gradebook. So these are all the videos. So I have a video for every chapter. And what I've done, so this class is actually happening right now. It's live. And the students love getting these like low stake quizzes with 10 points. They love the timeline because it's a PowerPoint that kind of gives them the big ideas for each chapter. This is a no-brainer. You know, H5P is revolutionary, you know, for higher education. I at Santa Fe Community College put a proposal in for SFCC to buy 10 licenses. And unfortunately, the process moves very slowly with our IT department. So I have my license through CNM. And so I can use my CNM license with Canvas at UNM, my UNM class, or my SFCC courses. And I'm just trying to get Santa Fe Community College to get licenses for our faculty members. So there's my example. And I have to say this, is that Alex and Sue are the ones that make me look good here because they're the ones that really helped me kind of stop having a fear of quizzes. Alex did, and put a low stakes quiz in, and then Sue helped me with the timeline. And like I said, I'm getting good feedback from students on both of these. They love having the timeline to kind of blast through. And then the quizzes aren't stressful. It's not like, you know, they go to the quiz and they're crying and they're sweating bullets. So there you have it. You know, that's what I have is that's what I have to show. So any questions? I stand for questions at all.
This is really great, Steve.
Alex and Sue get all the credit.
Do you just show how one module is set up without clicking into everything? You did the timeline that went across your whole class, I mean your whole book.
Okay, so are you asking
One of your modules, like if you go to
like module
content.
1, module 2,
Sure.
something like that?
Yeah, I'll do that. So right here, this is U.S. history timeline. Let me come here. Module 1, Reconstruction. Okay, now this is Brightspace, SJ. We use Canvas at Santa Fe Community College, but this is how a module looks in Brightspace. Welcome to Reconstruction. And then here you have all of your assessment stuff. Here you have, and this is something I did last fall with Alex also. I embedded all of the chapters into the modules. And then you have content here. You know, this is all the content for module 1. And right here, you can see here's where the video is. Here's a checklist for module 1. The students finish, you know, they can see what did they check off everything they needed to do for module 1. Does that help, SJ?
Yeah, it would really be helpful to see how this works in Canvas. So
I'm not using H5P currently in Canvas because I just started using it with Brightspace last fall and this spring. My goal this summer is to dabble with H5P for my SFCC Canvas stuff, but I haven't quite gotten the courage up for that yet. I'm wanting to kind of complete the spring course. So let me kind of wrap it up by saying this spring I'm working on U.S. History 1. So I gave you an example of U.S. History 2. I'm doing U.S. History 1 as an OER project with Sue and Alex again this spring. So basically, both courses will match each other. They'll be identical with the content, and that way it's a real universal shell for anybody who wants to teach U.S. History 1 or 2. You know, the content reflects each other in both courses. So thank you, everyone, and I'll stop and let Alex get to his presentation.
Alex is one of the OER champions at CNM, just so that people know, like, kind of where everybody is. At CNM, they have a different sort of like setup for their OER program. They have an administrator who like kind of helps to organize everything, but then she has her OER champions who are faculty that work with other like faculty who know about OER and different kinds of like digital pedagogies, and then they work with other faculty to help them figure out ways to deliver their OER content. So that's Alex. And then also Sue.
So SJ, your question you were asking, can you ask that question again that you posted in the chat about the access to H5P?
Yeah, let's see. Jennifer answered that you can just log on to Pressbooks and access HP5 from there.
Right. Well, it says here, do we have to log on to UNM, right? From Santa Fe Community College for H5P. Okay, so there are two ways to get a H5P. You need to have, one is to have an H5P account, okay, that someone in your school can provide you with. And the other way is if you have your Pressbooks account that comes with H5P in it. Those two accounts are separate and they do not communicate with each other. All right, so this is that page of the textbook on BookPress, right? This is the activity that the instructors created to get students engaged in that reading. They had to create this activity. Okay, so what they need to do is in Pressbook, they create the activity and they put this code over here for LMS grade reporting. And then they select which activity needs to be graded and add it. And then that way it gets added to the LMS. If you have an activity that you created in your independent H5P account and you just embed it in Pressbooks, you are not going to be able to do this. It's not going to give you this code. So that is an issue. If you're thinking that you're going to be able to transfer the activities from your independent account to Pressbook. So how is that an issue to start with? First, what Steve is doing is he has activities in his independent H5P account that he can post on the LMS, like in that case, Brightspace, because Brightspace has the integration. Steve would like to do that for his classes at Santa Fe Community College, posting the same activities, Canvas, and then getting grade reports to the gradebook. But that's not going to be possible because Santa Fe Community College, the Canvas that they have, the Canvas version that they have at Santa Fe Community College does not have integration, LMS integration with H5P. He can still use the activities and post them there. The students can see them, but the results that the students get from the quizzes are not going to be transferred to the LMS.
So Kiernan said that you're bringing up a great point. The H5P interface is simpler than the H5P Pressbooks interface.
So there are different uses. Where do you want your students to be when they are taking your class? Do you want them to be in the LMS or do you want them to be in Pressbooks, right? So that is a question to be asked. Or do you want them to be in both places, right? So how are you going to integrate your content? Are you just going to post a link to Pressbooks inside your LMS, or are you going to just tell students to follow the class on Pressbooks? There are different ways to do that, and what Steve was showing us, then he can embed the Pressbooks text inside the learning modules. That way, the students will have access to the reading, the quizzes, and the videos with quizzes in them, and they will all be reported to the LMS.
Well, and that's another reason why we wanted to go with Pressbooks too, is because there's so many books that are already on there that you can just import into your own book and create and adapt. I'm not sure if YOP is already on Pressbooks. I haven't looked, but I mean, it probably is.
Right.
I don't know that it is, Jennifer. I haven't looked.
Right. So that would be a next step for, say, Steve, because he is using YOP. in YOP in this class, right, as an embedded version.
In the chat, I put an adapted version of American YOP in, and it's on Pressbooks.
So this is the content on Brightspace, right? This is his learning module, and he has lots of things that he got posted there. So this chapter 5 reconstruction, as you can see there, it says web page, right? So it's a web page that got embedded inside that learning module. Okay, that could be his YOP book from Pressbooks, right? So if you click there, Steve, then what you see is the learning module is the textbook itself, right? And suppose this was an embedding from Pressbooks, this would come with the H5P activities there inside the reading for students to follow. So students would read this paragraph, and then right below the paragraph, there'll be some questions about it that would be reported to the gradebook, right? So that way you transferred your BookPress textbook to your learning module. And that way you're not telling students to go click here and to end up over there and get lost.
Yeah, because it's easy to do. I get lost all the time. But so we have like 1 minute left. This was amazing. Thank you for sharing all the materials that y'all have been creating in Pressbooks. Does anybody have questions before we wrap it up?
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Kiernan, thank you.
Thank you, Kiernan.
Thank you. That was really exciting.
And Alex and Sue for coming.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.